Here we are. Alright. Microphone wants to run away from me. There we go. Hello, everyone. Hello. Can you guys hear me? Should be able to. My mic says it's all good. Can you guys hear me? Should be able to. My mic says it's all good. Bonsai! Bonsai! You guys hear me? How you doing, Tiki? Hey, Shadow! My mic says it's all good. Hey, you guys are first. Bonsai! Bonsai! You guys hear me? I can hear myself out. How you doing, Tiki? Hey, Shadow! My mic says it's all good. Hey. I don't remember to close my tabs. There we go. Alright. Welcome, folks. Welcome, welcome. We're going to be painting a Khorne Berzerker and a Khorne Terminator. Gonna try and be efficient about it, but of course you gotta keep up with the Bants. Chatting with you wonderful people. 5x5. Yes, we hear your stream in your stream. Yeah, I figured. How about now? Stream and a stream and a stream and a stream. You know, the ever ending echo. Alright. First things first, we're gonna get the Mephiston red on there. Get it nice and corny. Get it, corny? Make sure to eat your resident cornflakes. Dry, without any milk. I actually have a shirt that says cornflakes on it. Like it's like a Berzerker and everything. I have that somewhere. I gotta find that. James Knighton, welcome to the stream, my good man. How are you doing? Conflict 47? I still haven't bought like a bigger set. So it'll be a while before I get more Conflict 47 stuff. Alright, so let's refocus here. Oh. Not bad? Okay, good. You're not doing bad. I will say this week was pretty long for me. The teacher's getting kind of petty. Like, I'm being asked to do really stupid... Well, it's not even that I'm being asked to do stupid things. I mean, I'm a custodian, so if I figure I'm going to get asked to do stupid things. But the problem is that they're not asking me. Like, every time the teachers have, like, a minor issue, they go straight to my supervisor. Like, they never talk to me directly. And it's not like it's hard to do, right? Like, I see all of them when I go in the building every day. But they'll look at me and smile and be like, hey, how you doing? And I'm like, hi. And then I'll hear 3 hours later on a phone call with my supervisor, hey, we just received a complaint that this isn't being done. It's like, well, it's the first I'm hearing of it. Yeah, gotta love it. Calling someone supervisor for a minor issue, for example, one of the issues that happened this past week is I forgot to wipe out one of the sinks, which, first of all, wasn't true. I didn't forget to do it. They may not have liked how thorough I was, but I didn't forget to do it. There's a vast difference between those two things. Man, that refraction getting kind of from the camera right now is kind of interesting. So, but anywho, it was just that I didn't clean out one of the sinks thoroughly. It's like, okay, why wasn't, like, that's literally like a 2-second conversation, right? The teacher comes up to me, is like, hey, can you wipe out the sink a little bit better? It's just not to the cleanliness I want it to be. Boom, done. I'll do it. Doesn't take more than a couple minutes. Boom, out of the way. Instead, the teacher will look me in the eye, say hi, do all the niceties, say nothing about what their issue is, and then call my supervisor. I'm right there. Like, there's no barrier to communicate an issue to me. I don't know. Gotta love working with them. Are they feeling too well? I don't wish anybody knows this feeling too well. It's annoying. Now, if there's a major issue and they go to my supervisor, I get it. Still would rather they go to me even if there's a major issue first and then go to my supervisor if I don't address it. But I get it at least if it's significant. But wiping up a surface, it's like, okay, that doesn't take much. I can do that. Hey, Khorne. Welcome, Khorne. How you doing? I could be a little bit more fast and dirty with this, but I don't feel the need to rush. Yeah, one thing I do whenever I do Chaos Space Marines, and I recommend this for everybody, always prime them first, like with a black or a white or whatever, and then do a gold or a Rune Lord brass. Because that'll cover all the trim. So all you have to paint in is everything in between the trim. Because the trim on Chaos Space Marines is hell to do if you try and do it like if you paint the thing, like for example, if you were to prime this and then were to prime it Mephiston red, then you have to go in and do all the trim manually, and the trim is actually harder to do than, in my opinion, than the blank plated areas in between in between that. So that's why I would much rather do this method. A lot less frustrating for me. Time from work, chilling in the VC. Q. You guys talking much mad mischief? I blame Tumblr. We live in a world where a lot of people are scared of direct conversation. It seems like it, but the thing is, I can't blame it with the teachers I work with because they're not young. Like a lot of these teachers, like 40 to 50 to 60. It's like they're of the older generation that grew up before the internet, so they have no excuse, in my opinion, for in that regard. Like if I were dealing with like 20-year-old, 30-year-old teachers, it's like okay, they'd be afraid to confront me. At least I'd know logically what's going on there, but. Nah, these teachers, they don't got that excuse. They are adults that have had to do confrontation for a long time. Berzerker, thank you so much, man. Thank you. The generosity. I ignore most of the trim on my Night Lords, but not on World Eaters. Well, you shouldn't ignore it on Night Lords, but I get why you would, because Night Lords is a little less, not iconic, but it's a little less poignant, and I think you can also get away with doing different variations because Night Lords have like a brass gold trim sometimes, but if you were to do Lead Belcher or something else to them, it wouldn't stand out against the rest of their scheme, if you know what I mean. The painting, not the teaching. I had not an issue with that, but I see your point. Oh, the painting. Oh, okay, never mind. We're talking about swords, the Flamberg specifically. The Flamberg. Fascinating. So I assume Pierce is in the chat. And I'm going to also guess Tang. That feels like a conversation they'd want to be in on. I do the shoulders, face, and sometimes legs. I do all the trim on the elites, though. Okay. So the chaff you leave exposed. Shame on you. So swords with the wavy blades? The wavy blades. Off the top of my head, don't know what you mean by wavy. Cane sword is best sword. Oh, you like the aristocratic concealed sword. I see you, Tiki. Fancy. You like the Malfoys of the world. Look up Flamberg's Y-hander and you will know, okay? Alright, do just that. Flamberg. I'm gonna copy and paste what you write. I can. Copy. Hamburg Zweihander. Cool images. What the fuck is that? What the fuck am I looking at? Hold on. So the chat knows what I'm looking at. These fucking things. Are they just trying to make an extremely painful weapon? What the hell is that? That looks painful. I suppose my guess is the design of the weapon is built to make it so the injury on the wound doesn't heal as well, or to cause more damage as it goes into flesh. That would be my guess. Hello, Havoc. Hello, Edward Bailey. Welcome, welcome. How you doing, lads? Weird. Very weird. It's made to destroy pole arms. Really? It's to kill people and pole arms. Okay. Hello, Asmogan. Is that a metal mini? No. This is a mini that I primed. I primed it black first, so anything that goes on the black will stick. Then I let that dry, and then I primed it Retributor Gold. So, all that's just... The gold you see is paint. It's not the actual material. I don't have the money to buy a golden mini. I barely have the money to buy plastic ones. Thankfully, I have a 3D printer, so I don't have to buy the plastic ones. Yeah, okay. Hey, sexy. That's rude. I didn't realize I did. It's okay. Thank you, my love. When you're painting, do you ever feel what a different color later down the line? What? When you're painting, do you ever feel did you mean to say want a different color later down the line? Yeah, that's happened several times. Usually what I do is, since I paint in thin layers anyway, where I can just go back over it most of the time with just a thin layer of whatever color I want to change it to. Sometimes if that happens a little too often, I will strip the mini. Like it's like okay, I completely hate the color scheme I did, or I feel that everything I did was completely screwed up. So I want to completely start over. Then I'll strip the mini. I'll strip the mini at that point. If that happens a lot, but usually again I baseline, start with thin layers, and then work my way to it. You can tell he doesn't have cats. They would make those figures disappear. I have actually 3 cats. They're just well behaved. They have other things to chase around the place other than miniatures that don't move.
That is true.
Like mice.
Yep.
And rats and moles.
Cats go after wolves?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Any rodent.
Any rodent.
Yeah, they go after ferrets if they got the chance.
Well, I've heard of a cat going after bugs. Then again, that was just one of my other cats that I used to have. He was vicious. He was a vicious cat.
Coming to the Gone Emperor Mini made from actual gold, $2,000. Well, you're not far off. If you guys have seen the latest episode of the Voxword podcast, which I worked pretty hard on, so hopefully you guys have checked it out. But even if you haven't, we actually talked about the collab that GW did with Weta Workshop, and they actually. Now, I think everybody, or hopefully all of you, have seen that the little non-bobbling bobbleheads that cost $100 that are 1/6 scale that they're selling from Weta Workshop, which I think is a ripoff. Listen, it's Weta, I get that, but it's Weta. They should have made full helmets. The fact that they didn't do that, God. But anyway, yes, the Khorne butt plugs. Hey, it's not just Khorne. There was Dark Angels and Ultramarines, of course. But there was also the Khorne one, yeah. So that was horrible. But as we pointed out on stream, it's not just those little bobbleheads that they're selling. They're also selling miniatures from Weta Workshop. And one of the miniatures they're selling is a Horus mini. It's a 1/16 scale, I believe. 1/16 scale Horus, and it's almost $2,000. It was almost $2,000 or was $2,000. So funny you mention that. That's not even a joke anymore. It's not even made out of gold. It's made out of it was pewter or something. I mean Abaddon. Was it Abaddon or was it Horus? If it's Abaddon, it's even worse. Because at least with Horus, there's like he's a more iconic character. You could feel a little bit more value there. But with Abaddon, who the fuck wants to pay $2,000 for a shittier Abaddon? 2K for a Horusy. Good God. That's some Fallout 76 level sad merch. It really is. If you're EU and want a good place to buy a Flomberg, check out Regenier Armory. I'm gonna say it like that. Abaddon, because we joked about who the fuck would even buy it. Oh yeah, right. So it was Abaddon. See, it's even worse. Good God. Alright, so we got that. Wait, hold on. Yeah, that was just a completely wasted opportunity. You get Weta, of all people. Weta! And you don't do anything like really unique. You get them to make an Abaddon mini that is wicked overpriced. Even if it is Weta. Like, Weta does not justify that price tag. Not for a miniature. If it were a fucking... If we got, like, a big old figure... Like, if we got a 1/6 scale Abaddon... Okay, I could see why that would be, like, $2,000. Because it'd be, like, fucking huge. Right? But 1/16th? Nah. Keep bumping my head on the mic. No worries, that is a way better way to pass the time. What? Oh, by the way, Tiki, I'll be in your stream tomorrow morning. Yeah, Tiki streams, by the way, for those who don't know, who are just tuning into my stream. Tiki the Hut, who's in the chat right now, he also does regular miniature painting streams. Usually, for my time anyway, really early in the morning / really late at night. They're really good. They're nice little hangout sessions like this one is. And I don't think we'll ever overlap. So I do highly recommend them. I'm trying to make mine more of a regular occurrence, but trying to get back on a creativity loop. $2 a.m. to 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Yeah, see, there you go. I'm not gonna be awake. I will be out cold. On the rare occasion I'll be conscious at those hours, I will see. I will try and tune in, Tiki. Heavy the disappointment. True. Set it down real quick. Now, all of the feedback for the Abaddon Mini I assembled is that it's awesome, that I replaced the head so that it isn't really Abaddon. I feel vindicated. Yes. I will add to that vindication. Like, replace the head, make it literally anybody else. It's a much cooler model. With the context that it's Abaddon, good God. I'm going to go for a trickier spot here. Trying not to hit the trim. Got a little watery. The Warhammer channel is live, and they're wearing suits on suits. One of them is even in a tux. Wait, suits? When you okay, define. Like, hold on. Let me. Are they on YouTube or do you mean Twitch? Because I know they have a Twitch. Let me pull this up. Warhammer. Warhammer 40K. Okay, I'm gonna just take out 40K, I guess. Oh, no, they're live. Armies on Parade awards ceremony. Okay. Wait, why they're wearing suits for that? Screw it. Let's pull it up. I'm gonna pull it up very temporarily because I don't know how strike happy they're gonna be.
Sort of really dark base.
All right, let's take a look at this.
So the blade going all the way up to the sort of white colours as well. So they've thought ahead quite.
All right, I'm assuming they're showing off right now people's like custom kit bashes and stuff, or are these like their models? I mean, either way, these models look really good paint-wise. They're clearly Age of Sigmar. I do love that paint scheme right there. Like, that looks really cool. Like the phoenix fiery bird. That's cool. Nice. So you said they're wearing suits? Wait, hold on. What's this? I'm assuming safely this is a... Yep. This is a fans army that they submitted. Credit to them. I really like the scheme. It kind of looks like they tried to strip the army a little bit, though. Like, doesn't it? I don't... Like I said, I don't want to get copyright striked, so I'm just gonna... Oh, you're not kidding. They're wearing suits. Ed, Adam, Dan. Okay. I mean, to their credit, they look nice. I mean, these guys clean up nice. Right? Like, they don't look bad. They don't look bad at all. I mean, it's a bit much for the tux. This guy in the middle, it's a bit much for that, I would argue. I kind of like this one, like the, what is that, tweed, as they call it that? I kind of like that one. But, I don't know, I feel like if they really felt they needed to dress up, like this level, like more business formal, was fine. This is like what you wear, like when you're like going to something really, like, fine. I don't know, it does feel a little odd. Like, they're overdressed for what they're doing. But at least they clean up nice. They clean up nice. They look okay. I don't know who Ed and Dan are, but Adam is the one of the Warhammer TV painters. Okay. Well, he's dressed the nicest out of the three of them. To me, it looks like he should be like at a fancy party getting served champagne, not this, but okay. Wearing tux is a bad look. I mean, I'm assuming safely they're not like the shareholders. They're not getting like the highest payout for that. They're just employees. I don't know. They look nice. They cleaned up nice. It's interesting that they went that far though. I mean, business formal would have been fine. I just want to eyeball the rest of this while we're here. Okay, that's pretty cool. I like this. Oh, that's a really cool diorama. It's Ultramarines, but you know, I can live with it. It's a much darker blue than Ultramarines are normally painted, so except for the dreadnought on the back. Hey Jenny, hello. Welcome to the stream. Yeah, we're just eyeballing a stream that Warhammer is hosting right now. I really like that. That is really cool. Like the effort in the background, everything. It's like under the sea moment right here. Well, they even got a little crab dude in the front. That's cool. You miss Goblin Green bases? I think a lot of people do. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Oh, okay. I really love what they did there with like the fishy. That's cool. Oh, I always love the creativity people put into their armies. So I take it that this is another example then. Kate Holden. Oh, credit to Kate. She did a damn awesome job. The fiery. That's so cool. Like the bases, the paint scheme, like this is really clean work. That is really cool. Oh damn, that Skaven army is cool. Oh, that's so cool. Yeah, you gotta appreciate times like these when you can appreciate the community's hard work and like the artistic effort that people put in. So that's really cool. All right, I'll stop. I'll stop doing that because again, don't want to get in trouble with the copyrights and stuff. But that is cool. That is really cool. And credit to those artists. They did a really cool job. Paint my house with goblin green. I mean, parts of it already are, if I'm being honest. Oh, by the way, earlier today, mini wargaming. Oh, I thought I closed the tab. There we go. Like mini wargaming had like a post where Chaos Dan and one of the other mini wargaming crew, like took a picture with Midwinter minis. Now, I know a lot of our side of things really don't like Midwinter minis, and I certainly I missed a time before all the drama happened a while back where he made a really stupid video and stupid point. But that aside, I thought the photo was nice. It's like, okay, cool. They're meeting up. They're fellow creators in a space, and you know, like they seem to be having fun. But the first comment I saw on that post was cruel, because it was like it was something along the lines of two mighty chaos warriors and one who cheated, and I'm like, ooh. First comment, like, Jesus. I thought I held grudges. Damn. Bronze armor and the red stains isn't from red paint or dye. Right? Anyway, how you doing, Mark Ashamed? Just working on my word, Edish. If you ignore Twitter and Reddit, the Warhammer community is one of the best ones. If you ignore the internet discourse in general, it's one of the best, I would argue. Like, there's nowhere on the internet, period, I would say the Warhammer community is clean of issues. And unfortunately, due to the way the internet tends to affect things, especially in nerd communities, it sometimes does bleed into the real world. Thankfully, not often. Thankfully, most of the time, real world's pretty safe. No one is free of sin. That is true. That's why puritanical douchebags annoy me the most. It's like, you guys act like you're above it. I'm not talking religious, I'm talking like... talking like... It's pretty much any kind of, like, stick-up-the-ass person. It's like, oh, I know how this works better than you do. You are immoral because I say so, and this is my worldview reasons why. It's like, okay, I'm assuming in your past you have zero mistakes in your past. Gotcha. Midwinter appeared on the Yogs cast, and on Insta I said something like, shame you got him on the channel, and Mid gave some generic cringe response, so I told him to go hang out with his kids for once. Yeesh. Yogs cast. That sounds familiar. What's Yogs cast? You really don't like him? I did. That for me, that's like the hardest part with the Midwinter mini stuff. Is that I was a fan. Like, a lot of I watched a lot of his DIY videos, his speed painting videos, and I did like him. I even liked Hattie when she was introduced. I didn't really interpret. I just figured she was a co-host that he brought on. I didn't really pay attention to the fact that the wife wasn't appearing in things as much anymore. I guess I had a very innocent eye as I was looking over that kind of stuff. No, I was a fan. Like, for me, that's part of the it's part of the sadness of that situation, is seeing him like go down that route. That we like it's always a shame when you see someone like you genuinely believe to be a hobbyist, and I still do. Like, I don't take that credit, if you will, from Midwinter Minis. I do still believe he is a genuine fan of 40K and a hobbyist, but he's gone down the route that a lot of people have, where they're starting to believe and acquiesce to the bullies. And what I mean by that is, like, we all knew growing up that when we were fans of nerd stuff, right? Like, rewind the clock 20 years, not even 20 years, like, rewind the clock 15 years. A lot of nerd stuff was not treated well. Like, you were bullied for it in school. Like, if people knew you loved D&D, for example, they bullied you. Like, I grew up with that. Like my generation is the one that started to be more accepting of it, but it was usually video games. there was still a line drawn at like the tabletop stuff and like the once you got into things like Warhammer, once you got into things like D&D, that was a level of nerdy stuff that the bullies that were okay with video game, because they did video games too, but they were like, oh, you're like a mega nerd, like you freaking weirdo, and they would bully you still for that kind of crap. So, people like really said awful and like horrible things to like us kind of hobbyists growing up. And I'd say the adult version of those creeps is the same type of people who now make the moralist arguments, like what they believe to be moral, like the transgender BS, the inclusivity BS, like all that stuff that they constantly like say Warhammer needs to become more like accessible to these groups, because somehow magically it's not, because it doesn't have these groups constantly being shoved down your throat in every book. It's just like they're no different than the bullies that mistreated people for their hobbies back in the day. The only difference is how they mistreat you and what they're mistreating you about, but it's the same energy. Like you really don't feel like you can win. And Midwinter Minis effectively did what a lot of nerds ended up doing, is they would become toadies. They'd be like, okay, yeah, it is stupid, huh? And then you would just repeat their talking points and repeat like what the dumb things they would say, in the hopes that they would not bully you. And it's pathetic, it is, but at the same time, it's just kind of a shame, because the fact that he said it with on a video with confidence, that's the thing that will always get me, is with confidence in a video. He, despite being a hobbyist for his whole life for this stuff, he made an ignorant as hell comment about, like bolt action and like playing like these Nazi, like playing as the Nazis, quote unquote, even though he was painting a Wehrmacht tank, not an SS tank. Like the comments he made, it sounded like it was coming from somebody who's never touched a miniature in their life, who's never played a war game in their life before, who's never been in these communities ever before. That's the embarrassing part about it, is it was coming from somebody who, logically and based on his history and his videos, he's been in this space his whole life, but yet he said something so incredibly stupid and ignorant that he came off as somebody who hasn't spent a day in a hobby store, who hasn't spent a day painting a miniature. It was really embarrassing and a real shame too. So I don't know. For me, I was a fan, and to watch him do that kind of crap and say that crap, I was like, you're not who I thought you were. You're not a cool hobbyist that I felt I could respect. You're not that, which was a real shame. No. Would have wished he would have chosen a better route, but the mind virus is the mind virus. That's a YouTube group that's been around for ages. They used to do Minecraft all the time. Okay. Yeah, I off the top of my head, I don't know the group very well. Maybe if I saw like their channel or something, it would click, but name doesn't click, so they're certainly not something I watch regularly. By the way, if you guys are enjoying the stream, make sure to leave a like. Always appreciate the support. He was a fan at 1.2, but slowed down watching. Then the fucking extra credits tier video dropped. Yeah. And it just soured me entirely. It did sour me too. Like I haven't watched Midwinter Minis since I unsubscribed, because that did sour every video afterwards. Like how do you ignore those kind of comments? Like in the back of your head, every time you hear him talking about Warhammer and him talking about like painting this kind of miniature, doing this kind of challenge, the whole time in the back of your head, you're like, okay, but he believes that if you paint and collect World War II Germans in bolt action, you're a fascist, or you might become one. Like that kind of thing just sticks in the head, and you lose all kind of respect for somebody. And that definitely happened for me for Midwinter Minis. which is a shame because, like, I did really respect him as a creator, but mainly as a hobbyist for a long time. So I don't know. It's a shame what people end up turning into. They end up believing things that, like again, it's the same shit that nerds have been bullied over for years. It's like, oh, you play video games. Well, Jack Thompson was like, oh, well, that'll turn all of you into serial killers, murderers, and rapists, and all these other horrible things. It's like, fuck off, dude. Like, it's literally no different than the only difference is the actual topic, but the energy, the words, the expressions, the accusations, they're all the exact same as the puritanical nut jobs from the 90s in the 80s about video games. It's like, oh, video games are going to turn your, like, if they play GTA, they're going to turn into the gang members and stuff. No, people just playing a video game. It's completely innocent and devoid of that stuff. And now we're getting it from the other side of the pole, if you will, from like other groups, like, oh, you need to have this group and that group represented, otherwise you can't play the Wehrmacht because that'll turn you into a Nazi. It's the same puritanical insanity. And to hear a hobbyist preach that in a video confidently, that's disturbing. It's like you've been in this space, you know how this works. Presumably. Like, no. Like, you're not a fascist authoritarian because you paint German tanks for bolt action. That's ridiculous. Hitler drank water, you're drinking water, therefore you will become a Nazi. What? It's the same stupidity. But anime was mocked when I left school, but Warhammer didn't really get much of it. I don't know if it's because it's probably because you're in the UK. Here in the States, especially when I was a kid, if you were into D&D or Warhammer, you like if the bullies figured out what it was and it wasn't like a video game or something, they'd be like, wait, you're into that stuff? Like, that's fucking nerdy, dude. Like, why don't you go outside and do other stuff? Like, or why don't you just play video games? Yeah. I remember that was like, again, like the bullies going after nerds and geeks and stuff was on a downward turn when I was in school, but it was still there. It was just the goalpost had been pushed because bullies now played video games, right? By the time I was in like middle school and high school, but it was the extra nerdy stuff. Like if outside of video games you did like cosplay or you did TTRPG stuff or you collected miniatures, you did anything above what they considered respectable or normal, they bullied you over. And Nico, yo Asmo, just checking in a bit. Would be watching, but I'm on a bit of a road trip. You have a good day and good luck with the painting. Thank you, Nico, and good luck with the travel. Hope you're doing well. The representation argument, I really do just find to be stupid. It is stupid, fundamentally. Would be most popular women, not nids or orcs. Correct. But again, like the sad part is you present that against what they say, they don't listen. Like I would love. It's fine for them to present these arguments. They're stupid on their base, but it just shows they don't know what they're talking about. So if you, in a better world, you would just be able to counter with, okay, that's not how it is because here's this thing that's been in this hobby for decades. Like in the Sisters of Battle case since the 90s. But they don't listen. That's like the other frustrating part. It's just like bullies. Like bullies, they're not looking for an argument or anything. They want to fight. They want to find a reason that they can oust you as something other than them and then hurt you for it. That's the same thing like the ultra woke do nowadays. And it's the sad thing is that like the sad thing is those people don't think that they're the bullies. And that's what like annoys me most, I would say. But anywho, we've been on this topic for a little long. outside of that, a little bit of a fun topic. I'm going to be taking my wonderful lady friend out for dinner tonight. We're going to get a nice meal out and enjoy our evening. I'm excited. Love you long time. Why gold first? To get the trim out of the way. The thing I hate most about CSM in particular is unlike. Hold on, let me pull this up. So unlike, for example, Black Templars, this is an older model. I painted this like a couple years ago. But unlike Black Templars, for example, or not just Black Templars, but unlike normal Marines, quote unquote, the trim is a lot more aggressive on a CSM, like across the board. Like all CSM have an aggressive amount of trim. So for me, I primed it black, and then I did a coat of Retributor Gold, and you can also do Rune Lord Brass. But I like a more vibrant trim, so I would decide to go Retributor Gold. So I decided to go Gold first, because the trim, in my opinion, is harder to do than the panels. Like if you do all the red panels, there's a lot more space to cover with that, and you only have to be careful around the trim. But with the trim, it's in between every segment. It's all up in here, for example. Like look at all that. The trim, there's so much trim to do that for me it's just a lot easier to base coat it with the trim color and then paint the red panels. So for me, I'm just saving myself the frustration of the trim. That would be the why the gold first. It's a personal preference of approach. Hope it is a good dinner. I hope it is too. We went to this place a little while back. We're probably gonna get the same food. Both me and her are very picky eaters. I think I'm getting close with another trainee teacher at my school. Ooh. Throw your hat in the ring. Do it, man. You deserve to be happy. Why, thank you, Jenny. So do you. Much more than I do. I'm just an ass on the internet. Great. Buddy just built Khorne Marines for kill team. I told history, do black primer, then red primer. Him. Oh, you told him to do black primer, then red primer. I mean, if the trim is less frustrating for him to do, then yeah, that's also an approach. I did that for a while for a couple of my Khorne Berzerkers. The trim ended up driving me insane. So I would rather get the trim color all on there and then just paint all the red paneling and then correct any paint over to the trim later, because it's easier to fix trim after it's already colored though. CSM are aggressive with trim. It probably isn't. I'll tell him your way. Hey, yeah, it's thanks. No problem. No problem at all. And my approach is my approach. Will not necessarily work for everybody, but I certainly recommend it. Personally, there's a reason why on painting difficulty / paint tier list, chaos trim is its own category. It really is. Like the trim on chaos is insane. I mean, if we do a quick comparison. Huh. So if we do a quick comparison, right, with the completed model that I painted and this one. That trim is a trim I did after the red, I believe, if I'm recalling correctly. So personally, it's a lot of a frustration saver for me. So, yeah, I think this method will work out better for me personally in the long run. I'm an old man. I have to stretch on a regular basis. Looks awesome. Thank you. There we go. I did find World Eaters release was a bit lacking and a bit questionable in some places, like no World Eaters Warlord on foot or their own Terminators. I mean, the Terminators is fine because you can just use standard CSM Terminators and paint them that way. That's what this guy is, and they come with bits in them, you know, so you can like customize them to look World Eaters style, like this guy is. So it can still work with like the standard kits, but though the lack of Warlord on foot, that is a bit more frustrating. I do find the line is a bit lacking. If you're looking at simple armies, World Eaters is up there. Like because your troop choice comes down to Khorne Berzerkers, and if you're pairing them with demons, I guess Bloodletters. But if you're just talking the World Eaters on their own, there's also the Jackals, and that's it. Like that's your troop choice: Jackals, Khorne Berzerkers. That's it. Makes sense lore-wise. Aesthetically, it makes sense. Game rules-wise, kind of underwhelming. An HQ choice, it really comes down to the mounted dude. Don't remember his name. I think it was a warlord. Mounted warlord, Khorne, Angron. Like, those are your choices, pretty much. And I usually go with Angron. I would recommend Angron, anyway. Khorne, if I want more troops on the field and less of a walking death machine, that is Angron. Oh, Edward, thank you so much for the super chat, man. What your opinion thinking of repainting my Marines dark green or Mephiston red? Red is easier to paint for me to get, like both colors. Well, thanks again for the super chat. Personal opinion, I would say if you're not in love with the dark green. Oh, sorry. If you're not in love with the color they currently are, obviously, definitely repaint them. If they're prior warning, if you're gonna strip them to paint them, because I don't know how thin you painted the original coats. If they're thin enough, you don't have to repaint it. You can just paint over them. But if they're not super thin, and painting another layer on will actually look kind of distorted on it, or will look like it's popping up too much or obscuring details. So if you do strip them, be very careful, because look up tutorials and everything, because stripping is a very, very careful process. If they're metal minis, go ham. You can use anything. You can use acetone on metal minis, but if they're plastic minis, such as this, they're plastic kits, be very careful. Bonsai, bonsai, bonsai. Bonsai! Actually, no. Let me do it another way. Bonsai! I don't know. Was that more racist or less? Bonsai! But, yeah. Outside of the stripping stuff, I would certainly recommend Mephiston red. Red, I think, is a better color. Generally speaking, it's vibrant, it's strong, it stands out. I will always recommend... I always recommend a red over a green. But green's not bad, I wouldn't say. I like a dark green. That was awesome. I was like, bonsai! I do bonsai! I'm gonna get in trouble. Just gonna wake up tomorrow morning, a samurai is gonna be out my fucking window. You dishonor our family! Get out here! I will cut off your dick. No, thank you. Locks window, loads gun. I mean, disregarding Papa Angry, a updated unit in Khorne, a new character and a generic mounted character, the 8-bound and their 8-bound, true. I forgot about the 8-bound. 8-bound and their empowered form, and Jax compared to others a bit lacking. Yeah. Thanks. No problem. Hopefully my advice was helpful. If not, curse my name. I don't know. Ooh, lost my grip. Definitely overshot there, but that's easy to fix. Asmogan, their Eldar is outside. There's an Eldar outside. What? Speaking of that, Afro Samurai has aged very well. Worth a watch 24. Yes, Afro. For those who haven't seen it, if you haven't seen Afro Samurai, what are you doing? that is a really good one. I highly recommend Afro Samurai. Really, how old is that now? If ET landed on my garden, I'm killing it. For me, it would depend. I would do a couple test rounds with an ET. I'd be like, all right, are you the cool healing with the finger touch ET, or are you anal probing ET? If I get the probe vibe, I'm shooting. RPG, that motherfucker got an RPG in his backpack. Wait, RPG, that motherfucker got an RPG in his backpack. Nah, even if he's healing, he has not made it in God's image and will pay for that. Fair enough. Religious retribution. And the name... Is that a funny image? You know, from Pulp Fiction, Samuel L. Jackson's character? I just like immediately in my head, I pictured a commissar version of him. He's like, and he said, my name is the Lord. He's about to put down a fucking towel. My brain's demented. I'm sorry. Someone's got to have done like a meme version of that. I cannot imagine I'm the first to come up like with that in my head. I'm actually excited for D&D tomorrow. Me and my group are playing tomorrow, and they're about well, I'm pretty sure a couple of them might be listening, so I have to be careful what I say. But I'm going to put them through an interesting ringer. And then they're going to go somewhere. Yeah, it depends on how they might be able to solve it in a way that they don't go where I'm hoping they end up going. So, curious how they'll handle it. For context, I'm the DM. Remember to surprise them with TPK, total party kill. I mean, unironically, Khorne, assuming they're not listening, that is on the table. They may very well get TPK'd. It's not off the table. It's unlikely, because I have a couple things in place that will not save them, but it'll prevent mass casualties. Rowboat mimics. They're in a dungeon at the moment. They're not up against. They're not in a scenario where rowboat. But that is a good idea. I'm gonna put that in my back pocket. Rowboat mimics. Note to self. I actually haven't thrown too many mimics at them, if any, so far in this campaign. They did dodge one mimic situation I set up for them, but I think I might be able to. Put another one in their way. Toilet mimics, my man. Toilet mimics. God. That would be a fucked up thing to do, like, in a row, though, right? Like, let's say you send your party to a whole village, but there's an epidemic of mimics. And, like, their whole quest is to hunt down and kill all the mimics. But the problem is you don't, like, even the locals have no clue where they are. And the locals are actually leaving the town because it's that much of a risk just to open your, like, what you believe to be your own closet. So the whole, like, for a whole, like, several sessions, you just set up, like, a nightmare scenario where a whole town is full of mimics. And, like, you as the DM, you know, it's like, okay, I got, like, 20 mimics there. But you set them up, like, very periodically. It's like, okay, this one's a toilet, this one's a rowboat, this one's going to be a random chest here. And a cool mechanic to throw in is for every in-game day that they don't kill all of them, they multiply. So let's say you start out with 20 of them. If the players don't hunt all of them down, whatever remain double. So let's say the party kills and finds successfully 6 or 7 of them. That leaves 13, right? Those 13 turn into 26, and then so on and so on. That would be a horrifying thing to put players through, but a hilarious situation to watch as a DM. Because if they miss just one, and let's say they leave the village and then they try and come back, it's going to be a whole new epidemic. You dressed as a commissar for Halloween this year? Nice. Me, I didn't have a proper costume. I ended up dressing in my old ROTC camo stuff. So it was technically a costume. Did you know that Dark Souls was supposed to have more types of mimics? I did not. My favorite possibility was the ladder and door mimics. Oh god, that would have been horrible. Warehouse or warehouse? Wait, are you referencing that humorous, like, not meme? Isn't meme? Whatever. Humorous comic strip of, like, the Primarchs are playing D&D, and Lehman Russ is DMing. And I can't remember who said it. I think it was Lionel, who's Lionel Johnson was like, let me guess, the warehouse is a warehouse. And he's like, it is now. You guys are underleveled and overfucked. Gilliman tosses his dice at Lionel's head. Oh, that was such a great little comic strip. It is now. Oh, God. That's exactly what Lehman Russ would do if he knew how to DM. That's exactly what he would do. Rule of thumb, never give the DM an idea he can execute on the spot. Gilliman would either be a great DM or an absolute fuck. Do you mean to say or in absolute fuck? I think Gilliman would be one of those really anal DMs, right? Where he doesn't let anything slide ever. Shit, motherfucker. Like one of those really anal DMs where it's like, okay, so you guys, so he's like at the end of every session he double checks what everybody has for like their gold and silver count, and he makes sure that they denoted like exactly what they spent that session. But then like one of the players forgot to denote like a silver coin at the juncture where like they entered a town and there was a fee to enter the town, and you're like, oh, you forgot to pay that fee. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, just subtract it. Like, my bad. It's like, nope, you forgot to pay it. Now the town has got it out for you. We're gonna put wanted posters everywhere. It's like, fuck, come on, can't you just say it was taken out of my thing? It's like, no, you forgot to denote it, meaning you didn't give it to him. That kind of, I think he'd be that kind of DM. That would be Gilliman as a DM. Like fucking enraging. Yeah, but the world would be fantastically built and overly detailed. That is true, I guess. Although any world made by Gilliman would be probably hell for anybody with reasonable expectations. Gotta get the butt flaps. Mm-hmm. Joe, Conrad has a DM though. Kurz as a DM. That would be just a straight horror session. Like every session would just be horror. It's like, all right, you guys wake up in a tavern. Okay, cool. So we order drinks. I didn't say that the tavern was full of people alive. Okay, we'll describe the situation. Okay, so the bartender is hanging by his entrails over the bar. It's like, wait, hold on, pause. And there's about 7 people who used to be patrons. One of their eyes has been gouged out, and his head has been impaled onto the tables. It's like, curse. It's session 1. Yep. Anyway, so as I was describing. If he won't like skin me or anything, he probably would. Actually, the funny thing is let's say he'd be rolling a d20 every like 30 minutes that you guys play for real world whether or not he should fillet you. It's like, all right, if I roll above a 16, I'm gonna actually real world fillet him alive. Damn it, 12. You just constantly getting saved in real life by actual d20 rolls. One of the few things I like about the World Eaters is the joke about their armor. It was white and blue. And they just painted it red. Wow, they painted it red, alright. One of the few things... Oh, sorry. What about Russ? Russ is the DM? Well, like I said, I could see him being a fun DM, but he'd also be one of those really loosey-goosey ones, I'd say. Where... He wouldn't be anal enough about things. Like, as a DM, you have to be a little anal. Otherwise, you know, the worlds you create and the scenarios you come up with and the quests if you aren't careful and very detail oriented, you can end up making really bad sessions and really bad encounters and stuff. So I do feel Russ would be good in like the energy and stuff of a DM. Like I'd say he'd probably be a pretty good. I'd say he probably has it in him to roleplay the characters really fun, and there'd be like really high octane action all the time, very combat heavy sessions. But I think he'd also be like, like a little too loosey about wouldn't be anal enough. Yeah, that's more Fulgrim style to be anal. True. Fulgrim would. I don't even. Fulgrim would be the type of DM where he would be constantly like pushing the party to role play sexually with NPCs. It's like Fulgrim. This is the 15th NPC I've had who's flirted with me and tried to get in my pants. It's like, yeah, but just do the role play. It's the world, man. Then they do the role play, and then it just looks over to Fulgrim, and Fulgrim mysteriously has one hand underneath the table. It's like, Fulgrim. It's like, what? Just keep doing the role play. Keep doing the role play. I'm almost done. I mean, we're almost done. Don't want to be a great co-DM to Russ. Yeah, I would say the two of them working together as DMs would be pretty good because Dorn would be pretty quiet. He wouldn't be able to do the role play, and he wouldn't be or not as fun anyway. But the world and like the details of things and like the structure of quests and stuff, I think Dorn would be really good at. So like Russ is the guy who actually is good at like running the sessions, all the session pre-session like writing and prep and everything would be Dorn. So the two of them paired up, they'd be pretty good. Okay, what would the Primarchs be as D&D classes, barring Magnus? Oh, Magnus. Well, why barring Magnus? Because I have an answer for Magnus immediately. He would be a mage. Well, he'd be a sorcerer. Yeah, I'd say a sorcerer. I was gonna say wizard, but no, I'd go with sorcerer. I'd say Rogel would probably be a paladin. Pretty easy there. Angron and Russ would both be barbarians. Again, pretty easy there. Corvus and Conrad would be rogues. The difference is specialization. Obviously, Kurz would be more of the assassination type. I think Conrad would be more of the thievish rogue, with maybe a little bit of a swashbuckler vibe. Quite a few of them would be fighters, I would argue. The hardest one for me off the top of my head is Sanguinius, because Sanguinius you would think paladin, but I don't agree. I don't think he'd be a paladin, because the only reason he would conjure paladin vibes is because of the wings and the angelic vibes. But as a person, he was actually really just like a stalwart, powerful fighter and very talented in martial combat. I wouldn't peg him as a paladin though, because paladins are very like religious, very stalwart, very oathbound, that kind of thing. Not that he wasn't those things, but they all were to some degree. I'd say he'd be a fighter if I had to argue with Sanguinius. I would argue Sanguinius would be a fighter who has some aspects of his personality that kind of conflate to like a paladin, but class-wise, fighter. Alpharius would never tell you if you succeed or failed on a roll. Yeah, I mean Alpharius is a DM. Wouldn't be Alpharius be the type of DM to constantly cancel sessions and then say the day before the session, okay, never mind, we're actually good to go. It's like, wait, you said we canceled. It's like, nope, never mind. Why? Guys. I'm a little off camera here. The line would be maddening as a DM. All right. Explain your train of thought on that one. Malcador might be a good D&D. I assume you mean DM for D&D. I think Malcador would be a pretty good DM. Yeah. Kind of. I would imagine him be kind of dickish about some of it, but yeah. Hmm? So what shade Agrex Earthshade? What do you mean? What shade am I gonna put on this guy, or what do you mean? I'm planning on doing Reichland Fleshshade for the trim. One thing I was also thinking of trying was the this panel line accent from Tamiya. Guys, it's for Gundams and stuff that they recommend you use this if you paint them. But I wanted to see how that would work on my kind of plastic minis. On this guy. Oh, I'm going to use Reichland Fleshshade for all the goldy bits. Because that'll make it look a bit more of a bronze gold. And I'm going to... For the red bits... I'm going to try and line some of them with the panel liner. And maybe hit them with an Agrax. Maybe. Not sure. Honestly, this is just a troop, so I could just do the whole thing in Agrax and call it a day. But I do want to try and be a little bit more delicate, if you will. The Emperor as a DM would ban clerics and paladins, then have a cleric paladin hybrid class DM PSC. I don't know. Actually, I don't think he would ban them. I think what he would do is he would say, if you play them, though, the rest of the part, you're gonna have like a boon that the rest of the party is gonna like try and kill you with some. Like, he would make it miserable to be those things. And then the whole session would be like preachy about like how religion is evil. Like that would be the campaign, effectively, is like, oh, religion, here's all the negatives. But what about the positives? They don't exist. And if they do, they don't. Agrax Earthshade makes the gold a bit more of a copper look to it. I think Reichland does that a little bit better, in my opinion. Agrax makes it look dirty for sure. And adds darker bits to the recesses, but I don't think it actually makes the shade color, the gold, really feel all that much more of a. Nah, I think Reichland's a bit better about that, personally. You love the lion, but he really isn't a people person, much like his dad. No, he's not much of a people person. That is very true. An antisocial overachiever, paranoid Arthurian knight as a DM. Can't see that being stable. I mean, it would make for challenging, conflicting scenarios. I think he'd do a good as a DM as far as like making a grand adventure. As soon as like everybody in the party, so to speak, was like in for a nightly tale of a story, right? I think where it would go bad is where there would be moments where he would introduce a plot point or introduce like an experience that the party would go through, and then it would piss everybody off. And if they confronted him about it, I feel like he would be the type to be like, all right, we're not playing anymore then. Session over. You're arguing with the DM. Like he'd be like one of those types of DMs, I'd say. Like very not fun to deal with for like the conflict scenarios. He would treat any kind of confrontation about his game or his campaign as like what do you call it? I don't know, as like a challenge to his authority and a personal attack, probably. In the name of the world eaters, I cast you down. Sorry, I'm mature, I swear. You got demoted to bronze in Yu-Gi-Oh because I haven't played in a couple of weeks. Oh, did they demote you mid-season? I know they did like when the seasons changed, but did they demote you? Is it still mid-season? So just not playing? That's a bit silly. Seasons changed. Ah, okay. But you get pushed back further if you haven't played a certain amount. Okay. Gotcha. Well, time to pull out that meta deck of yours and start slamming away at a bunch of fucking morons and noobs. It's an anti-meta... Whatever. It's an anti-meta deck, I'd have you know. Which is still meta in its own way. Is it not? Would you deny this accusation to the court? Because when everybody's playing meta, an anti-meta deck is meta. You ruined some poor kid's night by killing his weird red eyes plus Yubei deck. I mean, depending on how he took it, you didn't necessarily ruin the night. Sometimes it's a good learning experience. It's like, oh shit, I'm not as cool as I think I am. Damn. Time to get better. Damn, copying a guide off of YouTube wasn't enough. Fuck. Yeah. It's like one of those time to learn moments. And for you, it was time to edumacate. Yubel got some pretty sick new cards. Really? He meet Infinity turn 1. Infinity turn 1? That was close. By the way, the reason I'm not painting him connected to the base right now is because that's the base. So I gotta paint the base. Same with Mr. Terminator over here. The game can be the game is bullshit half the time. What do you mean can be? You learn the game can be bullshit. Like what, Yu-Gi-Oh? You don't say. Really, it's kind of a learning experience when you can learn that the game can be balanced. That's more of a surprising learn than not. than it being bullshit. Would you trust me if I tell you that there are worse monsters in my deck than Infinity? Would I trust you? I mean, I'd believe you, if that's what you mean. Knowing you, I'd be shocked there weren't worse options. If I were to run into you in a Yu-Gi-Oh tournament, I would just give up. It's like, yeah, no, I don't need to meet an Agent of Chaos today. I'm good. I would just sit back and watch the carnage. The carnage from a distance. Don't need to be caught up into it myself. Babe! Are you watching Matilda? Good. I love you. See, I'm lucky. My girlfriend's got good movie choices. She's got good taste. Good taste. I could summon something way worse than Infinity if you stop me from summoning it. Sake. Oh, you stopped me from summoning Infinity. Naughty, naughty. Evil smile just spreads across that grinning face of his. Oh, no. Better yet. Pull up that gif of the freaking, shoot. Pull up that gif of... It's the Half-Life gif that you've been pulling up, where brain, fuck, names. Your avatar, main character of Half-Life. What the fuck? Why are you not coming to me? Yeah, where he licks the crowbar. Yeah, that one. That's literally you though in those. Gordon, thank you, Gordon Freeman. So I was the name Morgan came to mind. I was like, that's not right. The reason it came to mind is it's the Freeman part, Morgan Freeman. Morgan Freeman, but it wasn't Morgan Freeman. It's Gordon Freeman. Fuck, brain. See, this is how I know I'm gonna die of Alzheimer's. My memory ain't good now. Those paint fumes, yeah. They're knocking me unconscious, lad. Got all the obvious panels that are red. Can't remember how much of this is supposed to be red. Ah, god damn it. Why do I keep doing that? Fingers, hold shit. Alright. When in doubt, look at boxes for reference. Oh. You should try some of the new solo stuff in Yu-Gi-Oh! I probably will sometime. Off the top of my head, I don't know how soon that will be. Oh, they vary. Okay. So I can pretty much pick and choose on this one. The GX one is pretty fun. Ooh, they got GX one? Okay, I'll probably do that soon then. Okay. Let me watch it then. I would love to shoot the shit while watching you play. Alright. I don't know. I don't know if I'll stream it when I get to that point, but I'll definitely do it. At least I'll do it on Discord then, if that happens anytime soon. Is it? I'll go for a bit longer. Hey, Jenny, YouTube finally let me know there's a stream. What, 105 minutes after it started? Wait, you were here earlier, weren't you? Yeah, you were here earlier. Pretty good turnaround time for YouTube. Yeah, that's true. Oh, did they only just send out the notification? That makes sense. Whee. You've been here for about 100 minutes? Okay. Good. Yeah, YouTube does not like to make timely notifications, especially around streams for some reason. Seems to wait as long as it feasibly can. Gives announcements. I saw the message on Discord and joined that way. Okay, good. Just doing a sad by thad comparison. Now, this one I know I use Rulorn Brass. for the edges. This one I'm using Retributor Gold because I'm looking for more vibrancy. Hoping the Rykel and Flesh Shade will help tone it down enough that it looks right, but we shall see about that. Hopefully very shortly. Okay. Some good old water. Water is always welcome. Alright, so let me start doing some of the other components, because doing red forever is going to drive me insane. Using Thorn Fame Brown for this one. Alright. Alright, so I've made some pretty good progress, I think. Looks pretty good. Alright, I'm going to end this stream there. I wish I had finished a bit more, but I have to call it for the afternoon. So I hope all of you have a wonderful day. I will stream again relatively soon, hopefully, fingers crossed. But yeah, I'm gonna call it there for tonight. Gotta get ready to take my lovely lady out for a nice, delectable dinner, and have a great evening after that. So, love you all. Hope you guys are having great days and evenings where you all are at, and I'll catch you guys again soon. Hopefully to finish these guys up. All right, bye bye.